Centaur, your kind of company.
Tonight on Ctv3 News, 2 men remain in custody as suspects of the murder of Bernard Timmons. Police confirmed that 50-year-old Sergio Valdez was stabbed multiple times, making him the second murder victim for Orange Walk on Independence Day. Prime Minister John Briceño addresses world leaders at the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Friday, September 23rd, 2022.
Speed. Everyone wants more. Internet is more than speed. That's why Centaur's Internet Express offers you wall-to-wall coverage with its Wi-Fi extender. Just plug and surf. Stay connected as you move around your home with Centaur's Wi-Fi extender. Can your internet do that?
Centaur, your kind of company.
Ever since I was a kid, I dreamt of going to Mars. You can keep my dream alive.
Come with me. You cannot, under any circumstances, leave my room, okay? Only for 35 days.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
Es un hecho que tu crédito dura más con Smart. Durante estos tiempos, todos buscamos cómo minimizar nuestros gastos y ahorrar a lo máximo. Con Smart, lograr esto es fácil. Es un hecho que con Smart su crédito dura más. Puede llamar de Smart a Smart y de Smart a Digital sin discriminar al proveedor, usando su crédito promocional, mientras que con el otro proveedor solo puede usar su crédito promocional para llamar a Digital. ¿Qué significa esto? Su crédito promocional, ya que viene gratis al hacer sus recargas en temporadas de Double Ups, le otorga llamadas gratis a cualquier número nacional. Sigue con Smart y ahorra más dólares.
I met Alex on the plane. When I woke up in the morning, he was so alive.
I think they know you're lying.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
Get her off that stage.
Enjoy your favorite HBO original series and movies with Centaur, your kind of company.
Tonight we're really late.
I was so much fun since this pandemic forced us on lockdown and like my online classes and was so stressed
Oh my
out.
gosh.
And I bet you glad that you finally get out.
Yes, that's true. And that girl, you may let loose. I never did expect that from you. Oh, Melanie.
Well defended again by Beverly.
Everyone, this is a nice ball.
George the drive and the finish. Posting up Marcus Morris.
My gosh. Looked like Kobe hit him real hard. My gosh, Melanie. Now you the top.
4 minutes have 7 of their 9 points.
You see why me? The married life. She can even enjoy her friends like in a peace.
Mind your business. Someday you might find a great guy too.
Exactly. Well, I still kind of have a crush on he cousin. Oh, no, remember the one where I danced with at the wedding?
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Yeah, well, I would have go fall up down with he any day. have done cause enough trouble for one night. Make her walk on her out. Alright. No, I believe I have to go to that place at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Bye. Bye. I didn't do anything wrong, James!
Hey, morning. Morning. Your friend Melanie bring this for you on the way to work? Check it. Check it. You have to be more appreciative. You got some nice friend. And remember, nothing never happened last night, right? Right?
I love you, Jack. You have to do this for you. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. Your future self will thank you.
No. I need help.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, women and girls were at the highest risk of suffering domestic violence. Domestic violence involves violence between any member of the same household. It can happen to females or males, young or old. However, the evidence has shown that women and girls face the greatest risk. That risk has heightened due to the impacts of the pandemic, including job losses, mounting stress, and restrictions to movement and recreation. We can all help to combat violence against women and girls during the COVID-19 pandemic. Just like Melanie did, you can reach out to someone who is struggling and help them to find a way out. It is never easy, but together we can fight this. Belize will not be safe until its women are safe. Secure Belize.
Good evening. With your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. Tonight, 2 persons remain in police custody in relation to the Independence Day murder of 43-year-old Belize City resident Bernard Timmons. Timmons, as we reported on Thursday, traveled from his home in Belize City to Orange Walk to enjoy the Independence Day festivities when his life was cut short by a machete-wielding individual. His attack was captured on surveillance cameras in the area, which we understand shows the exact moments when he was attacked. Reports are that the incident was a consequence of an earlier altercation between Timmons and 2 other individuals. Bernard is said to have been standing in this area here when he was approached by one of the individuals who was armed with a machete, who then proceeded to chop him across the neck. One of the individuals currently in custody and who is believed to be the murderer is a well-known criminal figure here in Orange Walk Town, having been charged for 2 previous killings in our community. This individual was first charged back in 2009 murder of 44-year-old Enrique Castillo, who was affectionately known here in Orange Walk as Grandma. 3 years after being charged, he was acquitted of that murder and was then later charged in 2020 for the brutal killing of a farm caretaker who was brutally attacked and left to die. His body was discovered with chop and gunshot wounds. His knees were slashed and his right arm had been severed. Again, charges were dismissed in that case. That individual, we understand, is expected to be officially arrested and charged with murder later tonight and expected to be arraigned in court on Monday morning. The second individual detained, we understand, was the person involved in the altercation with Timmons prior to his death. That individual, we understand, is also expected to be charged in connection to his death. While an alcohol feud may have been the motive behind the chopping murder of 43-year-old Bernard Timmons, tonight police are yet to determine a motive behind the brutal killing of 50-year-old Sergio Giovanni Valdez, whose body was found early yesterday morning on the Champagne Ridge Road. Valdez was found in a pool of blood. He had been stabbed twice to the chest, twice to the back, and chopped to the head. His body was discovered by workers in the area and identified by his sister. The elderly man was known around the community as a fish salesman who was not known as a troublemaker. Today we spoke to several of his family members who say they are unaware if Valdez was in any kind of trouble which would lead to his tragic end. An autopsy is expected on Valdez's body over the weekend to determine an exact cause of death as police continue their investigation into this latest murder. Anyone with information that can assist police to identify the person responsible for this latest murder is asked to contact the nearest police station. The 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly, UNGE 77, opened on Tuesday, the 13th of September 2022, with a high-level debate running from Tuesday, the 28th of September to Monday, the 26th of September. This year's theme, A Watershed Moment, Transformative Solutions to Interlocking Challenges, acknowledges the shared roots of crises such as COVID-19, climate change, and conflict, and the need for solutions that build global sustainability and resilience. Prime Minister John Braceno departed Belize on the 21st of September to attend the assembly in New York, and a few minutes ago he addressed world leaders.
I take this podium with a heavy heart, more pessimistic than I was last year, more cynical and disappointed. We have come to depend on a multilateral system that has as its center the charter of this, our United Nations. Where is the collective will to adequately address the challenges of our time? Where is the shared conviction to work together for the betterment of mankind? Where is the hope? Today, there are conflicts on several continents. Geopolitical tensions are heightened. The unjustified, unprovoked, and illegal attack on Ukraine by the Russian Federation has shaken the foundations of the multilateral system. This is wrong. The consequential crises we face are not confined to the battlefield in Europe. They are global and affect us all. Democratic norms and human rights, even where thought to be firmly rooted, are being rolled back. Poverty is on the increase. The planet is being destroyed by climate change, and international cooperation and solidarity have been supplanted by nationalism and unilateralism. Global market prices for food and petroleum remain volatile, reaching historic highs earlier this year. The lingering impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic and persistent supply chain disruptions have contributed to skyrocketing inflation.
The economic realities outlined by PM Briceño have affected the globe, including Belize.
45.5% of Belizeans are estimated to be moderately to severely food insecure, and homicides are on the rise again. The post-pandemic recovery we anticipated is delayed, and the chorus of promises and commitments to pivot towards building back better, to getting the recovery right, have yielded little. Instead, global action and inaction have only resulted in deepening the many crises that we are facing. Global temperatures have already increased by 1.2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. Greenhouse gas emissions reached record highs in 2021 and continue to rise this year. Fossil fuels are still dominant, while renewables account for an abysmal 15% of global energy sources. The current energy crisis in Europe has triggered more fossil fuels as a panacea, rather than a doubling down on energy transition. Biodiversity is declining at a faster rate than ever before, with profound and unknown consequences for our environment, health, productivity, and well-being.
As for climate change, Belize is also feeling its effects.
Belize is ranked 8th out of 183 on the Global Climate Risk Index. We are but one hurricane away from catastrophe. Yet financing needed for climate adaptation remains woefully inadequate. Only about a quarter of all climate finance goes to adaptation. Global debt is at crisis levels. The Secretary General's latest report on the Sustainable Development Goals paints a dismal and disturbing picture of the state of play of the achievement of Agenda 2030. The SDGs are at real risk of not being achieved. Our current systems and institutions, conceived for World War II recovery, are straining under the weight of today's crises. In truth, they are broken and stand impotent in the face of the 3 C's: COVID, climate, and conflict. And yes, our people and planet are paying the price.
So many problems faced by the globe, Prime Minister John Briceño called for a global financial architecture.
No more tinkering at the edges to conceive of additional programs that are based on the same false logic. It just doesn't work. Mr. President, public sector expenditure on climate cause, loss, and damage cannot continue to be classified according to fiscal orthodoxy. The IMF is largely devoid of ways to quantify consequential climate impacts on public debt and countries' capacity to pay. The IFI's obstinate focus on primary balances and debt for GDP ratios ignores the empirical evidence that nature is in revolt. Incredibly, a recent analysis revealed that of the 80 IMF-funded country programs around the world, climate was central to the country assessments in only a single case, Samoa. We need a new global financial architecture that has the willingness and capacity to identify systemic threats like debt, like climate risk, and devise tools that are commensurable to the challenge.
There is also a call of support for Cuba, Haiti, Taiwan, and Palestine.
Speaking of injustices, it is shameful that a unilateral, illegal, and immoral commercial and financial embargo continues to be imposed on Cuba in defiance of the international community and UN resolutions. The cruel sanctions visited on the Cuban people were not eased as they suffered the wrath of the COVID-19 pandemic. Even now, as the effects of the fires in Matanzas caused hardship, there appears to be no possibility of easing. Belize repeats our call for the immediate lifting of the embargo, and we salute the resilience and fortitude of the Cuban people. Estamos con ustedes. Belize continues to be gravely concerned about the spiraling deterioration of the situation in Haiti. We call on the international community to advance a robust and comprehensive program of support for the Haitian people. Mr. President, Taiwan, an exemplary nation in many respects, continues to be excluded from the international community, unable to participate and contribute to functional multilateral cooperation. The challenges confronting mankind today require the full participation of all countries and peoples in the struggle for development and prosperity. The outdated policy imposed on Taiwan to promote its exclusion must yield to the greater good. Belize calls for Taiwan to take its rightful place among the international community of nations. I also reiterate Belize's full support for the realization of an independent Palestinian state within its 1967 borders, with all attendant rights, including the recognition of East Jerusalem as its capital and the right of return. The people of Palestine continue to suffer the indignities of illegal occupation and apartheid. The disturbing prospect that the world's sacred promise to deliver a two-state solution is slipping from their grasp.
A Guinea Grass resident is tonight out on bail after being accused of stealing over $500 worth of produce items from a market vendor in Belize City. 25-year-old Luis Ballon appeared unrepresented in the Belize City Magistrates Court yesterday after he was charged with a single count of theft to which he pleaded not guilty. Ballon was granted bail in the sum of $1,000 plus one surety of the same amount, which he was able to meet. He is due back in court on November 7th. Ballon is accused of stealing 40 quarts of coconut oil and 18 quarts of honey, totaling $576. The items were the property of Mirelio Escobar, a vendor at the Pound Yard market area, who reported to police that on Monday, September 19th, she went to her tent to prepare for the day when she noticed that someone had cut a hole into it. Further investigations revealed that the items were missing. Police reportedly found and charged Ballon after speaking with a market security guard and getting a description of the man he had seen previously trying to gain access to the tent. Coming up next, Patrick Faber left out in the cold by the party he once led. Stay tuned.
What is Amnesty 2022? An opportunity for undocumented immigrants living in Belize. Belize wants to help you to live freely and continue contributing to those communities you and your family now call home by offering a pathway to permanent residency. Why should you apply? In doing so, you remove barriers and reduce the difficulties faced living as an undocumented immigrant. Applying is easy. Go online to www.immigration.gov.bz for more information. Find out if you qualify, how to apply, what documents you need, and how to book your appointment. Be prepared. The registration period will be from the 2nd of August to the 30th of November 2022. Belize Amnesty 2022. Let's continue to build Belize together.
Connect, browse, and win with Centaur's September sweepstake. Every customer that updates their account to the month of September enters the sweepstake to win $3,000 cash. That's $3,000 for each branch. Make your summer more epic by becoming a lucky winner of Centaur's $3,000 September sweepstake. Prizes to be drawn on October 7th on the Despierta Belize Morning Show. Centaur's September sweepstake. Get in it to win it.
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
The Belize Agriculture Health Authority, BAHA, and the Ministry of Agriculture continue to battle the avian influenza virus tonight. The bird flu was detected in Belize a few weeks ago at a farm in Blue Creek, which housed 24,000 birds and to be depopulated. From there, the virus spread to a farm in Shipyard where 4,000 birds were sacrificed, and then to second farm in Blue Creek, which had to be cleared to its 1,500 birds. So far, epidemiological investigations have verified that 5 other farms in Blue Creek have been diagnosed with the antibodies of the virus. Those farms are now under quarantine. So far, close to 30,000 birds have been eradicated due to the virus, and while it is not believed that there will be a shortage of poultry products on the market for now, production will be affected. But what about the price for the product? Will there be an increase? According to the manager of the Belize Poultry Association, if the price per pound of chicken is affected, it won't be because of the avian influenza.
As to the prices, we don't know because the driver of the prices is not the disease, There are many other factors that drive the prices. Right now, farmers are harvesting their grains, or most of them will start harvesting their grains. The price of those grains is the driver for the price of chicken. Let's face it, we can't run away from that. So if there will be a price increase, it will not be associated with the avian flu. That loss will be absorbed by the industry as was done in 2015. That is not a driver of prices. So you'd have to look at other factors that drive the price.
What the BPA is monitoring at this moment are the direct and indirect losses caused by the virus so far.
In regards to the economic losses, there are huge economic losses being incurred as we speak. Some of it is visible and some of it is invisible because there are direct losses to the farmer. For example, those 28,000 broilers that were slaughtered, right? If you were to calculate the value of those birds, only in direct costs, we're only looking at the value of the bird in direct costs, all right? Well, already jumping $250,000 or more. And if you look at the total indirect costs associated with it, we are looking at already above $500,000 in losses. And that's just two barns. We're not looking at the whole industry in subsector in Blue Creek as yet. With regards to the layers, again, that's another $200,000 down the drain as we speak. We have to look at the effect it also has on the brand of the company that is sustaining the losses because the other day, one of the reporters asked the question, if I go to the freezer, which brand will I choose? And as funny as it might have seemed then, it's a serious question because people will be diving into that freezer for for the competition, for the quality poultry products. But we are trying to reassure them that the product from coming out of the Caribbean chicken plant is wholesome, is safe, because those birds that are being marketed by the company are being tested. And it's on Baja's control. They're the ones who are testing. And as long as it's safe to go into the market, they are giving us the green light, and we take them to the slaughtering facility. And they are processed, packaged, and sold around the country. So I can assure you that we, as industry, are also taking every possible precaution and measure to ensure that the public has a safe food to consume.
Currently, measures taken to avoid the spread of the virus include depopulation of birds from affected farms, cleaning and disinfecting of these farms, checkpoints to control the movement of poultry and poultry products from affected farms, and increasing surveillance in communities where there is a presence of the disease. These measures could be modified since all indications suggest a low pathogenicity of the virus. But in the meanwhile, financing is needed to capitalize on those measures, and that is where Cabinet comes in.
In terms of amount, at the start, we were somewhere between 600,000 and 700,000 to be able to conduct the control activities. We prepared a second budget in the event that the event would get worse. Worst case scenario could be a little bit over $1 million just to implement control and eradication measures.
We also have a team from BPA dedicating a lot of time to this issue. And we also have other resources being spent. As we speak, we have facilitated the people who are working in the area with over 130 personal protective equipment, and those are costly. And we are also prepared and willing to assist the Belize Agricultural Health Authority with reagents that will help us identify and move along faster. And also, we are willing to assist with whatever other needs they may have that is within our immediate capacity to do so, because we really want to get total control of the situation, and we want it to be over as quickly as possible.
Apart from the direct support from the government, we also have our other agencies, as OIRSA, for instance, that is also, they have a regional emergency fund, which we have already requested and are tapping into, and I know that is ongoing right now. There's an immediate emergency fund from OIRSA also that we are already tapping into. So there are others that are also contributing towards ensuring that we can manage this disease.
And to further protect the poultry industry from the virus, a task force has been formed, says the CEO of the Ministry of Agriculture, Servo Lobaisa.
That task force includes Ministry of Health, as we have Mr. Bowden, who has just joined us. We have the Belize Poultry Association, we have Baja, OIRSA, and even AICA as members of that task force. And so that task force met on Tuesday, and that is why the decision was taken to have a press briefing today so that we can update the public through yourselves and the media, and to also try to ensure the public once again that our poultry that is out there is safe for consumption.
As we told you at the top of the newscast a few minutes ago, Prime Minister John Briceño addressed world leaders at the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Apart from touching on climate change, COVID, and support for cook-tires such as Cuba and Taiwan, Briceño also addressed the issue between Belize and Guatemala.
Mr. President, justice is the cornerstone of peace. And in that spirit, Belize and Guatemala have been pursuing the peaceful, just, and final resolution of Guatemala's claim to Belizean territory before the International Court of Justice. We continue to count on the support of the international community as the judicial process proceeds and when it concludes for the demarcation exercise to be carried out. In the meantime, we must redouble our efforts to manage the daily challenges which arise along the border areas in accordance with the 2005 confidence-building measures. Additionally, now more than ever, we need to conclude a Sarstoon Protocol, a cooperation mechanism to avoid unnecessary incidents in that area.
Patrick Faber has been left out in the cold by the party that he once ruled. An official letter from the nomination committee of the United Democratic Party informs Colette Area Representative and former leader Patrick Faber that he has apparently not been accepted to run for another term under the UDP in that division. Faber and the party he formerly led have been in a sort of Cold War regarding social media posts and statements critical of party leader Moses Shineborough, former leader John Saldivar, and others. The letter to Faber cites 7 instances of unacceptable criticism of the party dating back from May 9th of this year to as recently as September 18th, which remain on his Facebook page and which the party says are in violation of Articles 513 and 833 of the party constitution. In the letter, the nomination committee informs Faber that the application to be standard bearer was reviewed in accordance with Article 1213 of the party constitution and regretfully declined due to apparent violations of Article 5 and 6 of the party constitution, which speaks to countermanding the decisions of the party and bringing the party into disrepute. Reference is also made to the August 15th letter by party chairman Michael Perfeet to Faber regarding the National Party Council's decision that all party infighting must cease and that anti-leadership posts and statements be removed from social media. The National Party Council at its August 20th meeting set a deadline for individuals interested in running as standard bearers of the United Democratic Party to apply by September 30th, 2022. Vetting exercise will be carried out in the months of October and November. Convention dates will be announced in December. Endorsement conventions will be held in January, then contested conventions after. There is no indication of any other person being interested in running in the Colette division, which a seat Faber has held since 2003. Faber, who is usually quick at responding, is yet to publicly comment on the issue. But who has made her discontent known is United Democratic Party member Tracy Tager-Panton, who has written to party chairman Michael Perfeet for an explanation regarding reports that Patrick Faber will not be allowed to remain the standard bearer of the Colette division. Panton, who copied the party's vice chairman and legal counsel to the letter, said she obtained a letter from a media house which informed Faber that his application to remain standard bearer of the division was rejected. Tager-Panton questioned the authenticity of the letter, noting that the information contained goes against previous decisions made by the party. It was decided that current sitting parliamentarians will not be subject to the same application process as new aspirants, and therefore the issuance of this letter seems to be misguided, Tager-Panton said. She went on to say that she is gravely concerned if the correspondence is factual and that she urges an intervention to reverse such a decision with great haste if it is true. If this correspondence is indeed authentic, it is my considered view that such action cannot be countenanced while there may be some outstanding issues that require resolution with the Honorable Patrick Faber, as the most senior and longest standing UDP parliamentarian in the House of Representatives. At this time, there must be a more instructive and prudent way forward, she said. Tigger Panton also said that as a seated parliamentarian, she does not support such a decision. But the drama fermenting within the UDP does not end with Panton's letter. United Democratic Party leader Moses Shine Barrow, in answering Panton's letter, has explained why Patrick Faber's application to remain the standard bearer for the Colette division has been rejected. Barrow, in his response, first clarified to Tigger Panton that there was no waiver of the normal process for standard bearers to submit applications to the nominations committee. Barrow says Faber's application has been denied because of his refusal to comply with the binding decision of the NPC, National Party Council, to immediately remove the public attacks and criticisms of the party and its members and refrain from such acts in adherence to the party constitution. The nominations committee cited several instances of Honorable Faber's defiance of the NPC in violation of the party constitution, one such offense as recent as last week, September 18, 2022, stated Barrow. He went on to say that party chairman Michael Perrafeet had written to Faber several times regarding his continued violation of the party's constitution, only to be met with contempt, and urged Panton to try and convince Faber to align his behavior with the party's rules. Barrow added that the party cannot operate with some members choosing to follow the rules and some doing the contrary. This matter is not at all complicated once Honorable Faber cures his breaches to the party constitution and reaffirms his commitment to adhere to and respect the decision of the NPC, August 28, 2022. Honorable Faber can reapply to the UDP candidate for Colette before the September 30, 2022 cutoff, and I believe the nominations committee may reconsider his application favorably, Barrow concluded. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Monday, September 26th here on Ctv3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at ctv3newsbz. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. Have a safe and a pleasant weekend from all of us here at Ctv3 News. Thank you for watching and listening. Good night.